King Charles protester Lydia Thorpe is facing calls to resign over a controversial stunt. In a recent incident that sparked widespread controversy and outrage, Lydia Thorpe, an Australian senator and prominent Indigenous activist, found herself at the center of controversy after a protest during the coronation of King Charles III. Thorpe's actions, described by many as disgusting, sparked calls for her resignation from various political figures and members of the public alike. On the day of the coronation, Thorpe made headlines when she interrupted the ceremonial proceedings by unfurling a banner reading, "Not mine." The aim of the protest was to draw attention to ongoing issues faced by Indigenous Australians, including land rights, sovereignty, and systemic inequality. While Thorpe's intentions were rooted in defending Indigenous rights, the manner in which she chose to express her opposition was met with heavy criticism. Critics say her actions were disrespectful not only to the monarchy but also to the importance of the event to many Australians. The coronation of King Charles III was a historic moment, and some believe Thorpe's protest overshadowed the occasion. Political leaders from across the spectrum expressed their rejection of her, and some demanded that she step down from her position as a member of the Senate. They say her actions do not represent the views of all Australians and that she has undermined the dignity of the position she holds. In response to the backlash, Thorpe defended her actions, saying she felt compelled to speak out against what she sees as an outdated institution that continues to perpetuate colonial injustices. She stressed that her protest was not against the people of Australia, but rather against a system that has historically marginalized Indigenous voices. Thorpe expressed her disappointment at the negative reactions, stressing that her protest was aimed at provoking thought and dialogue about Australia's colonial past and its effects on Indigenous communities today. Thorpe supporters argue that her actions symbolize a broader struggle for recognition and justice for Indigenous Australians. They assert that peaceful protests are a vital part of democracy and that Thorpe's desire to challenge the status quo should be praised rather than condemned. Many believe her protest highlights the need for a national dialogue about reconciliation and the continuing effects of colonialism. The incident reignited discussions about Australia's relationship with the British monarchy. There is a growing sentiment among some Australians who support a republic, believing that the nation should sever its ties with the monarchy completely. Thorpe's protest brought these issues to the forefront, sparking debates about national identity, sovereignty, and the future of governance in Australia. As calls for Thorpe's resignation continue, political analysts are closely monitoring the situation. Some suggest that this incident may have long-term implications for both Thorpe's political career and the broader discourse about Indigenous rights in Australia. While Thorpe has received significant support from Indigenous communities and activists, her actions may alienate moderate voters who view her protest as inappropriate. Media coverage surrounding this event was also intense, with different media outlets offering different perspectives on Thorpe's actions. Some portray her as a courageous advocate for change, while others portray her as a divisive figure whose protest was ill-timed and disrespectful. The polarized reactions highlight the complexities of addressing historical injustices in the contemporary political landscape. In light of this incident, it is clear that discussions regarding Indigenous rights and representation in Australia remain controversial. As Australia grapples with its colonial past and seeks to forge a more inclusive future, figures like Lydia Thorpe will continue to play a crucial role in shaping these conversations. Ultimately, it remains to be seen whether Thorpe will choose to resign or continue her advocacy. However, one thing is certain. Her actions have sparked a much-needed dialogue about the intersections between monarchy, colonialism, and Indigenous rights in Australia. As the nation reflects on its identity and values, it must confront these difficult issues head-on to promote a more equitable society for all its citizens. In conclusion, Lydia Thorpe's protest during the coronation of King Charles III ignited a firestorm of discussion about respect, representation, and the ongoing struggles faced by Indigenous Australians. Although calls for her resignation continue, the broader consequences of her actions may lead to a deeper examination of Australia's historical narratives and its path towards reconciliation. Whether Thorpe's protest was viewed as an act of defiance or disrespect, he undoubtedly placed critical issues at the forefront of national discourse, urging Australians to reconsider their collective identity and responsibilities to Indigenous communities.